So I finally found use for the selfie stick that I had for a couple years. I think I got it from Five and Below, or somebody gave it to me, whatever the case may be. Um, I haven't really used it until now, so I'm trying to find some light, and I got to start recording more videos in the daytime because trying to find lighting is crazy. But whatever. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Y'all don't need to see me like that. But anyway, the way I got into trucking is I went to Swift, like I told y'all before. Pretty much, I told them I was interested in training with them and working for them, and they told me that I had to go get my permit first. I'm based out of Jersey. That's just what they told me. I don't know what it is for somebody else, but just don't be surprised if, they tell you to do that. I got that. They sent me my bus ticket. I went to train in VA, Richmond Terminal, or training facility, whatever. And after that, it took about 3 weeks. It was like, started off with like 10 people in our class, maybe 7, and then a couple of them said that they smoked. When they asked you to fill out the form, they said that they smoked. Asked you if you smoked within the last 2 years, and they put yes, pretty much. So y'all gonna see that out there. If you put yes, they're gonna disqualify you. So don't put yes. With that, the class dropped down to like pretty much 3 people. It was me and 2 other guys. We pretty much learned all the classwork fast. We went through the training process fast because we caught on to the stuff, and it was only 3 of us. So, we can go through stuff, we can ask questions. Class is pretty small, so you can get things done. And not a lot of knuckleheads interrupting and stuff like that. So we got through the pretty much the written stuff. Like, you're going to do a week of learning, like hours of service, how to fill out logs, things of that nature, how to trip plan, and how to pre-trip, all that stuff like that. You won't really physically really learn how to pre-trip until you go out there and start maneuvering the truck and stuff. So that first week is really like dealing with, the classroom paperwork, stuff like that, filling out forms, drug tests, all that. That second week, well, they put you in a hotel also. I forgot to mention that. So once they take you out, they bus you out to their facility. You're going to train in the daytime, and then you're going to sleep in a hotel at nighttime. They got a shuttle that go back and forth between both of the sites. But they tell you not to drink, don't smoke, obviously, and don't get into no mess. You can't have no women in your room, no person of the opposite sex in your room. But you're pretty much free to come as you go, as long as you're back in time for training. Stay in your hotel room. They're gonna have like 2 or 3 heads in a hotel with you. Like, it's gonna be 3 of y'all total. So you're gonna be in there with a potential 2 other people, which was kind of annoying because if motherfuckers snore, bro, oh man, or just anything, man, you obviously don't want to be in a small space with a bunch of people. And one of y'all might have to sleep on the cot. I had to get the cot. And then, like, when I first came in, I got the cot because there was 2 heads already in there. They already had the beds. And once one of the dudes graduated, I got the bed, and the new dude that came in, he got the cot. So it was like a rotation thing. And with that, you just pretty much wake up. It's like going to school. You living somewhere, like you'll be living in a hotel. You have to provide yourself with the food, though. You're living in a hotel. You get up, catch the bus to school, train, and go back home, study, and repeat the process. With that second week, you're going to be more hands-on with the truck. You're going to physically go out there and learn what the parts are. You're going to start doing straight line backing, you're going to start doing the what do you call that? Can't think of the name, but you will start straight line backing, and then you will learn how to back up into a different lane. I forgot what you call that, but they're going to test you on each week, and if you fail the first week, the first test, they give you another try. But if you fail any test twice, they're going to kick you out of the school, and you're still going to have to pay. So when you come out there and you go into Swift or whatever school you go to, take it seriously. Focus on what you need to focus on, because that got me a little nervous, because I kind of risked, you know, coming out there like, and if you don't pass, and you got to go back to the drawing board, they're gonna kick you out. You got to go back, work your 9 to 5, and like, it was just not a good feeling. Like, I seen somebody get kicked out. It was just crazy. I seen somebody, you know, failed their DMV test. Like, they went and tested out, and they used the wrong turning lane. That automatic fail. If you stop on the railroad tracks or you shift on railroad tracks, automatic fail. Like, they got so many automatic fails. Then they failing people if you know, just they kicking people out if you fail in the test. Like, if you fail to preach it twice, you out of there. If you fail to preach it once and then fail the shifting, you out of there. So I'm like, yo, but the third week you're learning how to do more straight line backing. Oh, it's called the offset. It's offset back, but they're in smaller spaces, and then they start to ease you into the parallel park, and then they start ease you into the shifting. And boy, that the parallel, I'm like, yo, why do we gotta do a parallel park? Like, why do we have to parallel park? Because at first that was a little difficult. Then I started to get it. I'm like, all right, yeah, dun. And then that shifting, the shifting is what almost, like, I'm like, yo, I'm about to get kicked out. They about to kick me out because I cannot shift. Like, you gotta, it's an unsynchronized vehicle. So like, you have to hit the clutch, shift it, hit the clutch, shift it again. Like, so they say clutch neutral, clutch gear, clutch neutral, clutch gear, and you gotta get that rhythm. You gotta get that rhythm. Like, if you ain't never drive no stick before, you're gonna have to drive the big ass truck, which you don't know how to drive, with the trailer on the back of it. Learn how to shift while the instructor telling you, come on driver, clutch neutral, clutch gear. It's like you learn. It's like a big ass learning curve. That was the biggest learning curve for me, was the shifting. And I thought that, I was gonna have more trouble, but like, I was just acting crazy. It was my first 2 days of shifting. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna fail this shit. Then I started studying. Just study. Started studying. I started doing the motions at the back at the hotel. It's easy. Clutch neutral, clutch gear. It's easy to me now. You feel me? But before, I'm like, man, look. But now I'll be whipping them trucks. Like, I got an automatic now, but it's automatic's way easier. You ain't got to do no shifting. Less fatigue on, having to hit the goddamn clutch all the time. And then if you in traffic, you got to keep holding the clutch down and holding the brake and all this other, just whatever. But I still like manuals, but I'll drive an automatic, which I am now, because I was so pressed to stay in a manual. But I'm kind of glad that I have an automatic now. But with that school, you just got to be on it. You got to be on it. But once, I found out that I passed, all three of us passed the same day. We went and got our license. Well, they give you a slip, and then I had to come back and tell them that I passed in VA, and then they set me up through that. They sent me to the orientation for, the actual company driver side. I had my orientation there. It was a large class. People came straight from other companies. You know, people came from school, stuff like that. So, you know, with there, they give you lunch every day. Um, you got to get your own breakfast and stuff like that. But it was pretty like it was easy. It was like 3 days, 3 4 days, I think. Pretty much learning the company policies and procedures and stuff like that, getting all your paperwork done, more paperwork, and still when you go to that orientation, if you coming from the training facility, then you're good. But if you're like coming from another company and stuff like that, still you still might not be good because I've seen a couple people get sent home for whatever reason they couldn't stay with the company. But after those 3 days of orientation, they're gonna set you up with a trainer. They tell you to be ready to be out for what is it, 4 to 6 weeks. Because like the ideal thing for a new driver is to go straight OTR, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, go out there OTR, see the world. I'm like, yes, da, all that, and I got I got matched up with a trainer that was on a dedicated run, Church in the White dedicated run. He was home every weekend, so every weekend, you know, as his trainee, he dropped me off at home. So I didn't really get that, OTR experience from the RIT. So, you know, he really didn't shower every day. So sometimes you're gonna get a trainer where they don't shower every day and they like to run. The dedicated account, it'll run you like crazy. Like I found out when I got my own truck why he was rushing so much. Because he used to always be rushing. We'd take a quick shower every like 2 days maybe. But if it was real bad though, because it was the middle of the summer, if it was real bad, or we was sweating and smelling crazy, we'd take a shower. But like if it was manageable, he'd be like, "We gonna run all this stuff like that, man." But had to do what I had to do to complete my training and get my license. I got my license already to complete my training to get my own truck. So, with that, I was pretty much talking to my trainer about going OTR, giving up my apartment, and just living on the road and stuff. He was like, "Yeah, that's all good, but like you're only gonna make like $300 to $600 out there because you think you're going to get like 3,000 miles and stuff like that, but you're not. Like you're going to be sitting for a while sometimes if they don't got a load coming out of a certain area, and you're not going to make a lot of money. You're going to make more money doing the dedicated account that you on now, like that I'm training you on." So he pretty much was saying that the differential in pay would be, I make 300 to 600 OTR versus staying dedicated on that account he was training me on, making between $8 and $1,000. So I'm like, okay. But then again, I'm like, all right. So if I make $1,000 for that week, and I'm going home, I still got expenses to pay at home. It's kind of the same as, me living on the road OTR, being able to see the country and making like 600 and not having no bills at home. So it's like, thought about it, but I met somebody that was OTR for Swift besides my trainer, and they was pretty much saying like they checks was trash. Like when I say trash, I mean trash. I'm like, so it was more than one people that kind of influenced me to stay on that dedicated account, and I did it. So I stayed on the dedicated account. Um, like they run you hard, like on the dedicated account that I was on, 14 hours a day, 70 hours a week. The delivery window's so tight that if you can't shut down, ain't no shutting down. Like you ain't no shutting down to take no naps. Like you gonna run this up, and you gonna take your 30-minute in between that little window we gonna give you, and then you gonna keep running again. Like, I think you have a max of like an hour or two to just, relax or whatever you gonna do. I see why my trainer was always in the rush mode when I got my own truck. And then coming into the game, being a rookie, it's rare. They said it's rare that you go straight to a dedicated account like that because they want experienced drivers. So, with that being said, I made some mistakes going out there. Like, pretty much, I made a couple errors to where I read the pre-plan wrong. Like, I read the delivery times wrong, and I got it there late, which, they was like, all right, you're new, like, you'll get used to it, you know. And then before, like, it was one time where I had a load, and it was like a hot load. They call it a hot load or something like that. And they're like, yeah, this needs to be delivered on Saturday. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like, so pretty much that day, I went to pick up the load and pick up another, like, one load, because they have you doing like 2 or 3 loads a day. I went to go pick up one load that was going to deliver pretty much earlier in the day, so I can go ahead and handle the other load later. I got to the shipper, and I was waiting on the load, and pretty much the load wasn't ready. So I called the DM that was there for the weekend dispatch or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, this load, they saying something wrong with this load, whatever the case may be, all that stuff like that. So I'm waiting there. They're like, yeah, just wait on it. I'm waiting on it, and then I'm like, do you want me to just take this other load because this load isn't ready? I'm trying to keep moving so I can make money, obviously. And they're like, nah, just take this other load. So they finally got me a different load, and I took that other load. And by this time, I was already, by the time I make this delivery, I'll have enough time to make it home, and that's it. So I'm thinking like, all right, y'all already know that I'm not going to get to the second load. So just, I thought they took it off of me. And I went home right after that load. And Monday morning, when the actual manager, like little fleet manager or whatever, came in, she called me. She's like, yeah, what happened? What happened on Saturday? I'm like, yeah, I told her what happened. Like, the load wasn't ready. He had me take something else. So I asked him if he wanted me to take that one. He said, no, just take this one. And she was like, well, that was a hot load. And, that was supposed to be delivered. Like, how can you, you need to communicate better. I'm like, I told the guy that this load wasn't ready. So should I go and take the other one? He said, no, take this one. She's like, well, and she hung up on me. I'm like, nah, she just called me, gave me attitude, and hung up on me. Like, after I was trying to tell her what was going on. You feel me? So I'm like, nah. At that point, I wasn't making no money like that. Like, because my trainer was telling me $800, $1,000. I wasn't making that. She called me on some bull, giving me attitude and hung up on me. So I was like, all right, can you switch me to a regional or OTR account, because I don't want to be on this account anymore. Because she was acting crazy. And they was like, well, you gotta get approved through another account first, and I did my searching around. I got approved for another account, and it was It was a Kmart account. They were like, all right, yeah, you can make 50 cents a mile. Our drivers make like $1,300 to $1,700 a week. I'm like, what? Stop lying, bro. I was on it. I asked them to take me. They approved me. I got out of there. I went to it. And the distribution center was only 15 miles away from my crib. So, like, I'm thinking, I could. They even told me, they're like, yeah, you could be home every day. You live right there. They souped it up. They souped it up. I went there. Not the case. Not the case. Not the case. Like, literally, I think the highest check I got with them was $700. Maybe $700 with that Kmart account. Let me go back and say, with the church and the white dedicated account, it was all heavy loads, and I went through like 4 trucks with them. Like, the clutch went out in one truck, the windshield wipers kept breaking on another truck. One, like, it was an issue with mad trucks. I don't know, it was because I know the clutch went on one truck because I guess I was just not shifting right, or the load was too heavy, whatever. The clutch got too soft, couldn't even start the damn truck. Well, I couldn't even put it in gear, my bad. And it was just like all horrible. But the Kmart dedicated account, it was just, they sold the dream type of deal. And then when I went there, I knew I wasn't gonna make no money because, like, I would go to the Kmart store and I'd back into the dock, and they unload you box by box. A whole 53-foot trailer, they taking out one box at a time. They got a team, they got a crew that comes to the dock door, slides the rollers into the damn trailer or at the tip of the trailer, and slide the boxes down the roller. And you will be sitting there for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours before they done unloading you. Like, and it would eat up your money because you're not getting paid. Like, you would get, detention pay and stuff like that, but it doesn't cover, like, if you would run. So, like, just say the dude, like I told y'all before, they said I would get 50 cents a mile plus detention plus, this and that. So if I'm running like 300 miles a day, that's an automatic 150 plus, whatever they pay for the 6 hours I've been sitting there. And I wasn't seeing none of that money. Like, and they were like, oh, you got to run your clock a certain way. How am I running my clock a certain way if, you start at 7 o'clock, and no matter what, your 14-hour clock is going to run, period. So it's going to run. You start at 7. You can't drive no later than 9 o'clock. So at the 9 o'clock, you just done for. Like, no matter how much drive time you got left, after that 14th hour, you can't drive. So I would literally be sitting there for too long getting unloaded to where you would just, all my clock could be wasted. Like, I won't be able to get another load in. So it was like, and then they have safety meetings every Thursday and stuff like that. And, he pretty much, one of the managers in there pretty much tried to come for me. He was like, yeah, guys come here thinking that they can make money off the bat because they hear 50 cents a mile. Like, new drivers this, new drivers that. And it's like a conference call type of group call type of thing. So when he started talking slick, I got up in there. I'm like, yeah, let me talk now. Like, y'all lied to me. Y'all pretty much said 1,700 a week, this, that, and the third. Y'all giving me all the bullshit loads. I was cursing and everything. Like, other guys was in there like, yeah, you can do it. Like, you just gotta this and that. Man, they was in there running illegally, or they was leasing them trucks. If you lease a truck there, you'll get paid more money. I was just a company driver, so I wasn't getting that. So they pretty much were trying to keep me there, this, that, and third. I'm like, nah. I'm dipping. So I found an owner operator within Swift. Like these transitions that I'm making, it's all in Swift because I still owe Swift tuition, and I wanted to stay with one company for my complete year before I moved to anything else. Um, so I just was like switching divisions and stuff like that. And I went to owner operator, and he was pretty much saying like he'd pay me $200 a load. So I'm like, all right, I'll do that. And I'm like, all right, if I do, he was like, you do one load a day, and then if you do a back haul, it's an extra $50. So I'm thinking like, um, I'll make no less than $250 a day, whatever the case may be, and then it's a potential to make $450 a day. So I'm like, hell yeah, like it's 1099, so I have to pay my own taxes. He's pretty much telling me how to do that, which wasn't a problem. But um, I got into the like into the mindset of wanting to be home. Like the other pretty much when I started on the dedicated account after my trainer, I was home every weekend, but the account didn't work for me. Wasn't making no money, stuff like that. Trucks kept breaking down, wasn't making no money. Um, but I was home every weekend, and then when I went to the Kmart account, they were saying I could be home every day. Wasn't the case. When I went to the owner operator, said I could be home every day. Wasn't the case. And I kind of had that mindset of if you telling me like if you telling me I'm going to be able to do this, you're telling me I'm going to be able to make this number, you're telling me I'm going to be able to go home or whatever the case may be, make sure that happens, because if it doesn't, it's not going to work for me. You tell me something off the rip in an interview and it doesn't happen, it's not going to work for me because my mind's already set, so I'm already planning around what I think is going to go on. Because if I'm going to like home every weekend for my first account, Church in the White account, that's cool, whatever. But once I went to the Kmart account, they like home every day. I started getting into the mindset, all right, I'm about to go back and say MMA. I'm about to start training again. You feel me? So once I wasn't able to do that, it already messed with my head. I'm like, yo, and I wasn't making no money on top of that. Like, so it's like, what is going on right now? Like, I'm not making no money. I'm not home every day. Like, how am I stuck on the road not making any money? Like, I was not okay with that, like, at all. And then pretty much the same thing with the owner operator. He's saying home every day. It was to the point where they started making me. They had me on an account where I was doing 2 loads a day, so I was getting $400 a day according to the the agreement that I had with the owner operator. He was like, well, I don't really know if this gonna work for me. I can give you like 150 a load because you're doing 2 loads a day. So I'm like, nah, I need that 400 because that's what we agreed to. So it was a potential for me to make. I think the work days was like 6 days a week. So I do like boom, 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 boom. I could possibly make like 20. What was it? $2,400 a week, pretty much, and that was, I had to do my own taxes, all that stuff like that. But he kind of stopped that though. He stopped the fact that they was giving me 2 loads a day, because if I could have got those 2 loads a day consistently, my mindset would have changed about me going home, because I would have stayed out there. Like $400 a day to not be home every day, $2,400 a week, I would have sucked that shit up. I don't care. And that's coming straight out of school with less than let's just say less than 6 months experience, straight like that. Then that didn't work because he started talking to me crazy. I'm like, yo, you're not allowed to talk to me any way you want. Pretty much, he wanted me to switch out the truck to give it to another driver, and I'm like, all right, I gotta go take out my stuff, because you OTR or you on the road, you got a whole bunch of stuff, in your truck. And he like, nah, just leave it in there, leave it at the terminal. I'm like, I'm not leaving my stuff in the truck. He like, you know what I don't like? I don't like when people don't listen to me. Like, what? Who are you talking to? Like, you don't like? Listen, I'm not one of these other drivers you got going on here. You're not about to talk to me anyway. I'm a grown ass man. Like, he like, yeah, da 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 da. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. So, and you're not about to talk to me anyway. He was like, oh, you this and that, you this and that. I'm like, well, he's like, all right, just drop the truck off. I'm like, all right. I dropped the truck off. Um, at that point, I just had an interview with somebody else. I'm like, I said something slick to him. I'm like, yeah, I heard about an opportunity, a better opportunity than this anyway. So I'm out of here. And that ended up not working out though. It was JB Hunt, I think it was JB Hunt. They said I was good, and then when it was time for me to go to orientation, they was like, nah, da da da. I'm like, wow. So I kind of f myself with that. Um, but eventually, I found. Well, a company called me after I was putting my resume up, or after my resume was just updated. Um, Pretty much, they called me, told me it was another 1099 company, told me I could be home. It was local, like this was legit local. I was home every day. Um, they gave me the rate, and I'm like, all right, 8 hours a day, 230. The rate was $230 a day, and it'll be 8 to 10 hours of work. So I'm like, okay, I like how that sounds. I can make over the minimum